Here now is Republican Pennsylvania Congressman Mike Kelly. He is a member of the Tax Writing House Ways and Means Committee. What's your reaction to what Chuck Schumer had to say about the bill?
I think that's pretty much standard for Mr. Schumer. But again, I just would hope that our friends on the other side would realize that we're all the United States of America, not the divided states of America. This kind of rhetoric certainly doesn't help. And it's something they should all look at very seriously because we're talking about the same people. I don't care how they're registered or how they vote. They're hardworking American taxpayers, and that's where our hearts should be, and that's where all our direction should be, making sure they get to keep more of their own money.
I mean, but keep your own money. I mean, it's kind of like you're shifting from one pot to the other. The whole idea of making it revenue neutral, means that you're going to collect the tax somewhere and take that productivity out of the economy and give it to the government. Why not shrink the size of government?
Well, in order to shrink the size of government, you also have to address the spending issue, which is the big issue out there. So we're not doing that right now. What we're looking at strictly right now is the revenue-raising part of our government. I agree with you, though, because we are chasing a rabbit that's going to be very hard to catch if we don't get the spending under control. But today, the effort was to make sure that hardworking American taxpayers, middle-income people and low-income people get to keep more of their own money. That is just basic. We'll be able to compete globally, which is incredibly important for our corporations. But for our individuals, that's what we want to do. Make sure that when they get up and go to work in the morning, they know at the end of the day that you get to keep more of their own money.
But the reality of what you just said, I mean, is that low-income people don't pay federal tax. I mean, that's not the people that pay the tax are the wealthiest. You kept that top bracket the same. And even if you have no sympathy for those people whatsoever, it still is money that they would spend versus money that goes to Washington and is not productive. I mean, it just gets lost down that rabbit hole of government.
Well, look, we have a responsibility to address the other side, the spending, and I agree with you on that. But today wasn't about that. Today was about taxes. It's about tax.
Seems like it's never about
people.
that, though. When is it going to be about spending less?
Well,
when do you tackle that?
If it were up to me, we would have tackled that right away. But it's not up to me entirely. There's 435 of us in the House, 100 in the Senate. But the most important person is sitting in the White House. The President of the United States will be the key driver in this. This is a guy with such high energy and with such regard for everyday folks. That's the way we'll go. And I expect to see that happen pretty soon. But again, today was not about that. Today was about a tax code that has been so complicated for so long. Yeah. And we've wasted so much money and so much time just preparing it. We want to make it more simple for everyday taxpayers. But again, we have to be globally competitive. We cannot be in a world that's so competitive with the highest tax rates and think that somehow our businesses are going to stay here and we're not going to lose jobs overseas. That's just pretty basic.
What are the odds that this gets over the finish line on a scale of 1 to 10? What do you think is the likelihood?
You always want a 1 to 10. Here's what I think. Here's what I think.
I love numbers.
It has to be. I know you do. So do I. In my case, I hope it's an 11 because this is something that is long overdue when we want to get there. So listen, if it was up to me, I'd say, listen, let's go for it. Let's make sure it gets there. And we do have in the White House, what an energetic and high-energy president we have. I have so much confidence that he's going to be able to lead us through this whole difficult area. And you know how complicated this is. It's very difficult, but we have strong leadership at the top, and we'll keep pushing that way. And my message to everybody in America, this is a great day for you. This is 3 decades since we've talked about actually lowering your taxes, cutting your taxes. You just don't hear that too often, except in campaign speeches. And once the election's over, people forget about it. We didn't forget about it. We put it forefront. It's up top. It's what we're working on right now.
Does the final version look like this, or what's the first thing to go? People from expensive states are already crying and throwing themselves on the ground.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Listen, we will try to accommodate people where we can. But we can't accommodate everybody. I've said this before. Listen, some people are going to be happy. Some people are going to be very happy. But you're not going to please everybody all the time with this. It's just impossible. We're trying our best.
Congressman, you are very cheerful, and we appreciate that. You're a ray of sunshine. Thank you.
It's America. We have to be upbeat.
Yeah, an 11. I love that.
We love
did you hear that?
Of course I did. He's an ex-car salesman. He knows how to sell things.